Genesis chapter 6. When men began to multiply on the surface of the ground, and daughters were born to them, God's sons saw that men's daughters were beautiful, and they took any that they wanted for themselves as wives. The Lord said, "My spirit will not strive with man forever, because he also is flesh, so his days will be 120 years. The Nephilim were in the earth in those days, and also after that, when God's sons came into men's daughters and had children with them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. The Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of men's hearts was continually only evil. The Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him in his heart. The Lord said, "I will destroy man whom I have created from the surface of the ground, man, along with animals, creeping things, and birds of the sky, for I am sorry that I have made them." But Noah found favor in the Lord's eyes. This is the history of the generations of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time. Noah walked with God. Noah became the father of 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. God saw the earth and saw that it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. God said to Noah, "I will bring an end to all flesh, for the earth is filled with violence through them. Behold, I will destroy them and the earth. Make a ship of gopher wood. You shall make rooms in the ship, and shall seal it inside and outside with pitch. This is how you shall make it. The length of the ship shall be 300 cubits, its width 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. You shall make a roof in the ship, and you shall finish it to a cubit upward. You shall set the door of the ship in its side. You shall make it with lower, second, and third levels. I, even I, will bring the flood of water on the earth to destroy all flesh having the breath of life from under the sky. Everything that is in the earth will die. But I will establish my covenant with you. You shall come into the ship, you, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. Of every living thing of all flesh you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ship, to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female. Of the birds after their kind, of the livestock after their kind, of every creeping thing of the ground after its kind, 2 of every sort will come to you, to keep them alive. Take with you some of all food that is eaten, and gather it to yourself, and it will be for food for you and for them." Thus Noah did. He did all that God commanded him. Genesis chapter Key Points. God's sons, angels, desired women and took them as wives. The Nephilim were the creation of this union, the mighty men of old, giants. There was wickedness and evil in the thoughts of man. God was sorry he had made man, beasts on the land, creeping things, and birds. God decided to bring a flood on the earth to kill man and animals. Noah found favor in the sight of God, and he and his family were spared. Genesis chapter. Ponder this. God's sons and men's daughters, verses 1 and 2. When men began to multiply on the surface of the ground, and daughters were born to them, God's sons saw that men's daughters were beautiful, and they took any that they wanted for themselves as wives. God's sons refers to his creation, the angels. The Bible references many instances of angelic activity. God sent angels to the earth to watch over mankind. The Bible refers to these angels as the watchers. Daniel 4. These are angels whose dwelling is in heaven and who go to and from the earth watching over man and at times interacting with them. The Bible states to operate in love and show hospitality toward strangers, for you may be entertaining angels unaware. Hebrews 13. We are not alone in this world, striving to live a godly life, following Jesus and fighting against evil. God watches over us, and his eyes are constantly moving over the earth. 2 Chronicles 16. As he neither slumbers nor sleeps. Psalms 121. His angels heed his voice and are sent to help man in obtaining protection, provision, and all the promises of God. Psalms 103. There are angels whose dwelling used to be in heaven, and whose rebellion in following the archangel Lucifer resulted in them being cast down from heaven onto the earth. Isaiah 14. It is not clear in the canonized Bible, the books considered divinely inspired by God, which angels these sons of God who saw the daughters of men Scripture is referring to. However, the Bible clearly states there were angels who saw the beauty of women and so desired them they took whom they wanted and kept them as wives. Angels are spirit beings. However, the Bible reveals there were instances where angels came down to earth and appeared in human form, as the angels who accompanied the Lord in visiting Abraham, Genesis 18, and the angels who visited Lot in Sodom, Genesis 19. Angels have the ability to step out of the spirit realm and into the earthly realm in a tangible form we humans can see, hear, and interact with. We infer from their names they are male. However, the Bible does not detail if God also created them to be male and female, as they were not created to procreate. Humans were created with the ability to create life, and therefore when the angels knew their women, it resulted in children, and these children were born different. The offspring of these unions were called the Nephilim. They were giants, and they were the mighty men on the earth, able to perform great feats, part angel and part human. The offspring of angels and women. Verse 4. The Nephilim were in the earth in those days, and also after that, when God's sons came in to men's daughters and had children with them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. When God created the foundations of the earth and then man, angels had already been created by God and were present to marvel and rejoice at his creation. Angels saw the entirety of his creation and were witness to the desolation of the universe, its creation, and its mysteries. Job 38. When the angels saw the beauty of women, they were taken with them enough to go against their divine purpose and fall from their heavenly home in order to take human wives and live on earth as supernatural beings with supernatural abilities and knowledge. These angels then had offspring, and their children were different from man, for they too had increased abilities, strength, stature, and knowledge. So imposing were these beings, they brought fear to man. Numbers 13. When God created man, he did so in his image, making the order of dominion God, man, angels and heavenly creatures, and animals on the earth. However, when Adam and Eve disobeyed in the Garden of Eden by eating of the forbidden fruit, the order of dominion changed to God, angels and heavenly creatures, animals on the earth, and then man. Genesis 3. It is for this reason Satan, the fallen archangel Lucifer, then had dominion on the earth, as the angel's position in the dominion order was moved above that of man. Man would live according to this fallen order until the birth and ministry of Jesus Christ, who, being God, modeled the ability to invoke his name in order to once again manifest authority in the order of dominion as God had intended. Matthew 17. At the time of Noah, mankind was living in this fallen state where angels had a higher rank in the order of dominion on the earth. When the angels had offspring from the women, the creation of these newly formed beings further changed the order of dominion on the earth, where the angels were now able to populate the earth with beings who had increased height, strength, knowledge, lifespans, and who operated in continual wickedness and dominated the humans God had created. For this reason, God purposed to send a flood to kill mankind and the Nephilim, these part angel, part man hybrids, and remove them from the face of the earth. The longevity of man is shortened. Verses 1 through 3. When men began to multiply on the surface of the ground, and daughters were born to them, God's sons saw that men's daughters were beautiful, and they took any that they wanted for themselves as wives. The Lord said, "My spirit will not strive with man forever, because he also is flesh, so his days will be 120 years." There are 10 generations in the genealogy from Adam to Noah, and their lifespan in years were in the hundreds. Adam lived to be 930 years, Seth 912 years, Enosh 905 years, Kenan 910 years, Mahalalel 895 years, Jared 895 years, Enoch 365 years. Then God took him to heaven. Methuselah 969 years, Lamech 777 years, and Noah 950 years. In those days men lived to a very old age. The generations of man from Adam to Noah had a very long life. When God saw how angels took the daughters of men of whom they wanted, and they began to have offspring, the Nephilim, and how they became mighty on the earth, and men thought evil thoughts continually, he determined to bring a flood on the earth and destroy man and the Nephilim from the earth. After the flood, God purposed to shorten the lifespan of man to 120 years. God was grieved in his heart. Verses 5 through 8. The Lord saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of men's hearts was continually only evil. The Lord was sorry he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him in his heart. The Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the surface of the ground, man, along with animals, creeping things, and birds of the sky, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the Lord's eyes. When Adam took of the forbidden fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, his eyes were opened, and sin entered the world through man, and caused a separation from his Creator. At that time, man was under the protection of God, separated from sin, in the Garden of Eden, and dwelt with God, and had an open, honest, pure, holy, and intimate relationship with Him. Since the fall of man, while God wanted man to be reconciled back to Him, He could not dwell among sin, for He is holy. 1 Peter 1. Not only did man not desire to be reconciled back to God, in whose image they were created, they actively pursued wickedness and evil. God searched the world and saw the thoughts of men's hearts were continually evil. He determined only the death of man and the animals on land and air could restore the balance of purity to the earth. The inference is corruption was also found in the land animals and birds of the air, as the flood would not have destroyed the animals in the ocean. Without a blood sacrifice, man could not be redeemed, and the state of the earth was such, man did not want to be free of sin. The state of man grieved God's heart, and he regretted he had created man, the only creation he modeled after his own image, who because of sin he could no longer fellowship with. Despite his regret, God found a righteous man in Noah, his wife, his 3 sons and their wives, and they were enough humanity for God to modify His intent to completely destroy all mankind. God spared Noah and his family, for they were righteous, and thereby allowed the continuation of man after the flood destroyed all the wickedness on the earth. Even though God was grieved in His heart over the choice man had made to operate in wickedness, He knows all things, and knew once the earth was repopulated, Jesus Christ would come to earth and become a ransom to redeem mankind and give all humanity the opportunity to live forever with Him in eternity. Matthew 20. God knows the end from the beginning and is never surprised by the exploits of His creations, for He is all-knowing. 1 John 3. God so desired to have a family in man, He created the world for humanity, and has continually made it possible for man to be reconciled back to Him in order to dwell, have an intimate relationship with, and live forever with mankind. God is merciful and forgiving. Daniel 9. The flood coming to the earth, verses 17 through 22. I, even I, will bring the flood of waters on this earth, to destroy all flesh living the breath of life from under the sky. Everything that is in the earth will die. But I will establish my covenant with you. You shall come into the ship, you, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. Of every living thing of all flesh, you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ship, to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female, of the birds after their kind, of the livestock after their kind, of every creeping thing on the ground after its kind. 2 of every sort will come to you to keep them alive. Take with you some of all the food that is in the earth, and gather it to yourself, and it will be food for you and for them." Thus Noah did. He did all that God commanded him. God created a covenant with Noah as he was found righteous in his sight, and his seed was not corrupted with wickedness as was that of the men and the Nephilim on the earth. God would spare Noah's family, and they would begin to repopulate the earth. Along with the wicked men on the earth, the animals on land and in the air would also perish, as they also had become corrupted. God commanded Noah to gather 2 of every animal, male and female, onto the ark to preserve their lives, to repopulate the earth with their species. Noah was charged with building the ship or ark and loading the paired animals onto it. God gave Noah specific directions with building the ark: the materials, measurements, number of stories, placement of the door, and its dimensions. Noah was responsible for creating a vessel and saving food to spare the lives of the men and women of his family, animals, creeping things, and birds, in order to keep them alive and prolific after the flood. However, God did not expect Noah to wrangle every beast, trap them, and force them onto the ark. God told Noah to make the ark, and when the time was right, he would ensure 2 of every animal, male and female, of their own accord would come to Noah to be loaded into the ark. God was responsible for calling a male and female pair of every animal to the ark and ensure there was peace between the animals while they boarded, were in the ark, and preserved after they made dry land, in order for every species to live and repopulate the earth. When the animals disembarked, they would have been hungry while they established their territories on the earth. Peace would need to have reigned for a time in order for every species to be able to mate, produce offspring, and be able to reproduce and repopulate the earth, an act only God could do. Genesis chapter quiz. Congratulations! You have now completed this chapter. Thank you for watching. What did you find interesting about this chapter? How many questions did you get correct on the quiz? Subscribe to this channel, like this video, and comment down below. Turn on the bell button to get notified of new videos and catch up on past videos. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace.